Hello friends. In the previous classes of this mineral nutrient absorption, so we have studied the active and the passive absorption mechanism. That continue with the factor affecting on the active absorption and the active passive absorption. So usually there are two factors. One is the external factor and another one is the internal factor. Can you guess what are the external factors? So these are the factors that will be affect outside the plant and they will impact on the mineral ion absorption. So those are factors will be referred as external factors. That may be a light or maybe a pH or maybe a temperature or oxygen constant ion concentration and the interactions of the molecules. So these are all the external factors. So what could be the internal factor? So internal factor may be a growth and morphophysiological status of the plant and the aging of the plant. So those are the internal factors. So we can go by one how it will be act. The first one is a temperature. The temperature will key role on the absorption of the mineral and the nutrient. How actually it will be effect? So in the general concept, increase in the temperature as a result increase the absorption of salt up to the certain optimum level. So that means the when the internal temperature of the plant will be increases, outside temperature will be increases, the internal temperature also increases, that will increases the absorption of salts and then minerals. So at a very high temperature the absorption is considered as inhibited. The inhibited due to the denaturation of the protein molecule which are directly or indirectly involved in the mineral salt absorption. And change in the temperature will also affect on the process of diffusion. The one is inhibition of the protein, second one is the inhibition of the diffusion mechanism, the third one rate of diffusion depend on the kinetic energy of the diffusing molecule or the ion, which in turns depend upon the temperature. So like that the temperature is one of the external factor that will affect on the mechanism of the mineral nutrient absorption. The second one is pH, that's the hydrogen ion concentration. The change in the hydrogen ion concentration of the soil solution that will affect the availability of the ion to the plant. So in general, decreases in the pH of the soil solution accelerate the absorption of the anions. For example, boron is taken up by the undissociated acid. So as the H2BO3 ions, it is absorbed at the lower pH. The concentration of the anions increases in the pH will favor the absorption of cations. However, pH value across the physiological ranges may damage the plant tissues and inhibit the soil absorption. So this how actually the pH will affect on the as an external factor on the mineral nutrition absorption. The next one is light. Light doesn't have the direct effect, but indirectly it will affect on the transpiration and the photosynthetic rate. By that will be influences on the salt absorption. The next one is oxygen. The active salt absorption is inhibited by the absence of oxygen. If the oxygen is not there, the active absorption molecule will not takes place in the plant. The next one is interactions of other molecules. The absorption of one ion is affected by the presence of other ion in the medium, or absorption of potassium is affected by the presence of the calcium, magnesium or other materials in the soil. So that was explained by the Epstein in 1978. How actually these interactions of the molecule will affect on the absorption of the salt and the minerals. And next one is the internal factors. So that is the actually the growth, active cell division, elongate and development process promote the absorption of the mineral nutrients. So actually here the internal factor they mentioned the external. So it is an internal factor. Active cell diffusion elongates and the developmental process. And usually the aging, as the root matures, the increases in the surface area which favors the salt absorption. But due to the heavy subaerization condition, the mineral salt absorption is greatly reduced. These are the internal factors that will be affecting on the soil absorption. The one is external factor, that's usually the external molecules, that is light, temperature, pH, oxygen. So like that, the another one factor, that's the internal, that's the growth and the aging factors. All these will be directly or indirectly affecting on the plant absorption, plant ion absorption. The mainly that's a two mechanism, that's the active and the passive mechanism of the absorption will be takes place. And usually the factors like external and internal factor that will affect on the ion movement of the molecule in the plant.